May 10th, 2019. All I can do is sigh and wonder if a second glass of wine will help. This photo is Jamie and Victor in New Orleans this week and last. First thing this morning, I get a text from Mom. Quote, "Here's what Jackie Ellen just texted. I had to call 911 last night. Michael is back in the hospital with renal failure. I was with him until 1 this morning. I'm at work. Mom doesn't know yet. I try to hide as much as possible from her, but it's hard," unquote. I responded that I thought Mike lived with his mom, and my mother responded, quote, "There's been a lot of drama going on for about a year that I haven't been telling. Twice, Barb has run to the neighbors, which are strangers to her, saying that Mike was trying to kill her. Mike, of course, denied it. Jackie has kept Barb with her for weeks at a time, and then Barb keeps crying to go back to Mike, so Jackie takes her. This is the third time, and this time Jackie brought the dog with Barb. Jackie found Mike laying outside on the ground and called 911. Mike was in the hospital for 2 weeks tied to the bed, but finally they let him leave against Jackie's will and the hospital's. Barb is content to hold and talk to the dog all day long and hasn't asked to go back to Mike," unquote. Later today, Jamie came bursting into my office, foaming at the mouth because of all of the inconsiderate, lazy actions of blank, 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 and blank. At the end, she broke down crying, saying she knows she's being too angry about it, but that she's just so sad that she's having to put Hurley to sleep. She knows he's suffering, and it's time, but she can't stand the thought of how lonely the house will be without him. I cried with her. I've never understood the need people have to be worshipped by dogs. I'm perfectly content to come home to a cat who doesn't need me. I hope Jamie can find her inner strength so she's not putting her faith or basing her happiness on others. It's the only way she will ever find joy. Blank and Blank were here all morning. Howie had a lunch date with someone else, so I was stuck entertaining them. I just hate that sort of thing. I don't make friends because I don't need people wasting my time. And then I go on for a bit talking about the people that I was dealing with. That doesn't need to be repeated to anybody here. I got a brief reprieve when they left to get some work done. Mary Ann Bobcat went back outside after spending weeks in the hospital. Duchess tore down the hot wire again, so she had to be locked up. I answered a couple hundred emails, dealt with some very old 360 footage that Bill and Kids said I could post, trying to make it display correctly, and tried to figure out what LastPass is doing. It's all messed up, and I've already lost hundreds of passwords to it. I discovered a website I'd created for other sanctuaries to use, showing them all of our tips and tricks for fundraising. It's at animaltalk.tv, and I created it a year ago and then forgot about it. I sent it to the executive director at the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries, and she immediately shared it to all of the sanctuaries. They can't follow directions, though. I told them to use their sanctuary emails when they sign up so that I know they're from a legit sanctuary. But instead, I spent the day trying to make sure all of the @AOL and @Hotmail emails are actually really from sanctuaries. Clearly, my first tip should be that for credibility, you can't use those kinds of email addresses. Then we had blank until about 4:30 until now. We took them to dinner, and on the way, a woman called me 4 times, just desperate that I come pick up her dead cow. She wanted us to feed it to our cats, and I explained the first time around why we don't do that, and gave her the number of a sanctuary in dire straits to call. She was insistent that this dead cow was now my problem. She had no level, the restraint. She had no idea the level of restraint I was using after the day I've had. I just want to rock in the dark and chant to myself, make it go away. Howie got a nice email from Rachel Newer from Outside Magazine. I convinced Outside to spring for the transcript of Gerritson's testimony and a few others. I thought you might like to have the exact wording from the bit about the donation box. Question: did you get some paperwork when the tigers were, when you either picked them up or the first 2 tigers and then the other ones were delivered to you? Answer: yes, I did. Question: what kind of paperwork did you get? Answer: I think it was a USDA transfer form. I believe a 720. Question: okay. Did the forms indicate whether it was a sale or donation? Answer: donation. Question: and so it was, okay, so if it indicated it was a donation, is that consistent with your understanding or is that not true? Answer: it's not true, but that's, I guess, standard practice in the industry. Question: what's standard practice in the industry? Answer: everybody marks donation. Question: does anybody ever mark sale? Answer: in my years, I've never seen one. That was telling, given that Gerritson was a dealer for nearly 30 years. If you're enjoying my diary, please like, share, and subscribe. You can find other ways to connect to me over at bigcatrescue.org/Carole.Baskin.